has been trending in terms of sports, of course, has been the Ghana Football Association's extraordinary congress. We'll be getting to hear of some of the things that went down there, and also look into what is about to happen after the adoption of the draft statute by the extraordinary congress, or the football people, if you like. So what are the next steps? So, the people who are putting themselves up for the various positions, especially the president of the Ghana Football Association, will try to see what they bring to the table and try to judge and see the way forward for Ghana football. Like I said, we'll be talking about Formula One as well, and also getting into a bit of boxing also. So welcome aboard. My name is Hans Mensando. This is Joy 99.7 FM, and you're listening to the Joy Sports Link.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Super Hits Radio.
Right, it's approximately 40 minutes past midday here, and let's quickly get into today's business. And I've got two gentlemen with me here in the studio. We begin the show by talking about motorsports, Formula One to be specific. And of course, we are coming back from the Belgian Grand Prix. We are heading over to Italy. That is where the next race is about to happen. Of course, it happens this weekend. But gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, adjust your microphone for me. Thank you very much. And let's get into what happened in the last race. Of course, it made the wrong headlines initially due to that accident that happened there. But Charles Leclerc going on to win that particular Grand Prix as well. Run us through basically what went down in Belgium.
Okay, so quick one. The Saturday before, was it the Saturday before the main race, the F2 race, they had a major accident. And we lost Antoine Hubert, the French driver, who is also pretty much a good friend to Charles Leclerc. So on race day, as usual, we all expected Charles Leclerc to take pole, and he did. Went on to win his first Formula One Grand Prix race, of his entire career.
You actually expected him to take pole?
Yeah, he did. I mean, from the pace he was having from free practice 1, 2, and even 3, going into the qualifiers, I was not expecting anything less from him. You know, and the sort of driver he is, the pedigree he has, even when he had a lower car,
absolutely,
and now he has a faster car, I was expecting him to take pole. And there was a lot of long stretches in Belgium. And Ferrari were good at those long stretches. Then again, even on the race day, I mean, we all saw what happened. Hamilton chased down Vettel, literally, took him out. And if he had even one lap, he could have taken Leclerc out, but for the yellow flag that came out just around the final lap or so. So they all had to reduce their speed and, maintain a certain amount of speed, and they couldn't overtake. So Leclerc obviously went on to win the thing. And I mean, pretty much he even admitted that, I mean, he knew if Hamilton had even a lap to go, he would have taken him on. But I mean, congratulations to him. And the thing is, we are expecting.
It's interesting. On Friday, on First Take at the Labaji, we are talking about, Leclerc and a potential rivalry between himself and Max Verstappen.
Yes.
And how it brings back memories of Hunt and Niki Lauda back in the day as well. And
see, but the difference over here is that Hamilton is actually expecting those two guys to give him a run for his money. And he's not expecting anything less from them. He's already admitted that he wants to race them. So he takes it very personal when it comes to Verstappen and Leclerc, to the extent that he doesn't really, you don't see him regarding Vettel that much.
And it speaks volumes about their pedigree, even at this early stage. And there was an incident involving Max Verstappen as well in Belgium.
Yes, Verstappen, this is about the second or third time that he's made a mistake. He's had a very bad start. I think he had a very slow start, and in the process, other people came to hit him, and he also hit somebody, and he was off. It was a pity. The race would have been more interesting if Verstappen was in the race. But nevertheless, it was a very, very interesting race, and it saw something that we had never seen in a long time, where the Ferrari team is giving orders to Vettel
Okay.
to allow the young man, the young rookie, to overtake him. And they were using Vettel as a scapegoat.
Usually it's the other way around.
It's the other way around.
Yeah.
So they used Vettel to slow Hamilton down for 3 laps. Otherwise, maybe Hamilton would have beaten Leclerc.
Interesting.
It's very interesting and very exciting.
It's very exciting, you know.
Very
Interesting.
exciting.
And the truck, at Belgium, it's coming for a lot of discussion as well.
Well, you see, the thing is, we all know, and Nana will tell you, that Belgium is Hamilton's kryptonite.
Yeah.
It's more like one of his most difficult tracks. So he always has that difficulty in Belgium all the time.
Is it
Even
just him or
not just him
for a lot of the drivers?
For a lot of the drivers, but for a driver like Hamilton, even I think he crashed. During the practice. He crashed and he had to rush to put his car together for the qualifiers. You understand? But me, even the highlight of that track was, for me, that day was this driver swap at Red Bull, where they took Gasly back to Toro Rosso and they brought in Albion.
Okay.
And he started from the back because he had, I think, switched his engine. And he came 5th. So it shows you that he has a faster car now and he's a pretty much good driver. For him to come from his first day in a Red Bull, Aston Martin Honda engine, and for him to come from 20th to 5th, that was an amazing run. So I'm actually expecting him to perform this weekend based on he being taking the lead for the Red Bull, because Max Verstappen is changing his engine, so he's going to start from the back by virtue of the fact that he's driving a new engine.
Okay.
So
let's lay down that particular rule. When you change your engine,
when you make major changes, going into a race, you start from the back.
From the back.
Either the back or I think the pit stop, one of them.
Okay.
But they don't give you the advantage for you to, because you literally have a fresh engine.
Okay.
So Max Verstappen, he may be doing all the free practice and the qualifying, but tomorrow he's going to be starting from the back. But knowing the kind of driver he is, he's going to charge too. But the beauty of it is that his old teammate also has done some changes, and he's also starting from the back. So people are actually watching the two of them.
That'll be quite a battle.
Battling it out, from there. And Gasly trying to prove a point that you shouldn't have demoted me.
Now let's go to Italy. What sort of track are we to expect?
Wow. Italy is a very fast track.
Okay.
You are almost, I think, at full throttle, maybe 70%, 80% of the time.
Right.
And it favors the Ferraris because, one, is their home. They're used to that track. And their car is supposed to be the fastest at the moment. But looking at what is going on, I'm surprised at the fact that other people too are catching up with them. Because if you look at F3 today, there is only 1 second in terms of speed and time between the first and the number 14 driver. So it is very close.
That's in F3.
Yeah, that is in free practice.
Okay.
Today.
Okay.
And Ferraris have been planning a party because it's their 90th anniversary. They started on Friday. The whole Milan is full of tifosis. And I think Lewis Hamilton is going to crash the party today because he is quietly optimistic that his race pace is better than the fast speed of the so-called Ferraris. So it's going to be very, 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 very
So Hamilton for you?
Hamilton for me.
Is there any scenario that sees anybody springing a surprise? Vettel, Leclerc, anybody springing a surprise on Hamilton?
So no. See, the thing is, for Vettel and Leclerc, it shouldn't be a surprise.
Okay.
Because this is their track. For Hamilton, Bottas, Albion, Verstappen, and all the likes, it will be a surprise if they win.
Okay.
Because
I didn't mention Verstappen because he was going to start from the back and all
write
those
him off
Don't
yet.
write him off. There could be accidents.
There could be accidents, there could be yellow flags,
there
then
could be safety
tire
cars.
strategies. Exactly. So don't write him off at
Don't
all.
write him off.
He could come and win the race. Albion showed us what he can do with the Red Bull car last week.
Right.
So I'm expecting him to show up today during the qualifiers and make a point that, I wasn't promoted for nothing. I can drive this car and I am as fast as the Leclercs and the likes.
And then if I may add, being Monza, we could have a surprise rain for 1 minute or 5 minutes. And
and we'll change the race.
We'll change the race and there'll be thrills and spells.
Interesting. Now, I mean, with all the unfortunate incidents that occurred in Belgium, it's pretty important that this one passes without any, tragedies, if you like.
There was a horrible accident
today on track for the F3.
Already.
Yeah, very. But what they've actually introduced the
halo.
The halo thing covering the drivers.
Yeah.
That's what saved the guy.
Because the car
You should see the video. He flew into the sky, somersaulted in the sky, spin. But he walked out because of the new halo safety
And the
on
speed,
the top.
Speeds there, 300.
And this
300
was
kilometers.
Formula 3, not even Formula 2.
Not even Formula.
Formula 3.
Interesting. Let's quickly get into our watch party. I mean, it's gathering a lot of buzz. I've had calls from people. Charlie, how is it like? And I tell them, look, I can only sum it up in one word. It's exciting.
Yeah, it's
simple.
So let me start from. So now we have a very nice TV series in collaboration with our partners called Lights Out, which we film at the locations when we were having our Formula One, with all the goodies and the interviews. And also now we've started giving a whole lot of giveaways from our partners. I mean, tomorrow we have a lot of giveaways from Heineken, a lot of giveaways from DSTV, a lot of giveaways from Starbite, Zuba Shop, Silverbird Cinemas, and all coming through at the viewing party tomorrow. I mean, as usual, our big 150-inch screen is there with a loud sound. You can hear the loud engines. Makes you feel like you're at the Monza watching the Italian Grand Prix itself, you know. And the usual, the drinks and the food.
Definitely.
Beautiful networking, you know.
And it's a whole 4 hours.
It's a whole 4 hours. I mean, we are there from 11 a.m. right up to the end of the race and post-race, you know, of conversations and what's going on. And mind you, our next race after tomorrow is on the 22nd, which is the Singapore Grand Prix, which is the only night race. But the thing is that tomorrow's race, Monza, is always drama. And we're expecting that drama at Monza. We're expecting Ferrari fans to show up tomorrow at the DSTV showroom at Belgium, because they've enjoyed Belgium, and they've made a lot of noise about Belgium. You know, so they're expecting it to continue tomorrow, and we'll see what's going to happen. But tomorrow, as usual, the doors are open from 11 a.m. Race starts at 1. So people should get, there'll be food, there'll be drinks, there'll be lots to talk about and all that. So tomorrow we'll be there at the DSTV showroom.
Let me push you guys to the wall before I let you go. Who wins it?
Hamilton.
He's going for Hamilton. Okay, so I'm going for either Hamilton or Leclerc.
Charlie, you guys are writing. You are writing Verstappen off, and that's what I mentioned.
I'm not writing. You see, that's what I'm saying. That on a good day, Hamilton or Leclerc.
Okay.
On a strange day of rains imbalances and things like that, accidents and here and there, Verstappen or Albion.
Okay.
May show up. You know.
Right. So the venue again.
The venue is the DSTV showroom.
Okay.
Time is from 11 a.m. If people want directions, they can WhatsApp 020-4480-300. If you want directions to the DSTV showroom, you can please WhatsApp 020-4480-300.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. I'll be there myself to get a feel of the excitement and hope that my favorite, Max Verstappen, pulls a surprise.
Yes, it's a Red Bull. See, I'm wearing Red Bull.
Oh,
it's a Red Bull. You see, I have love for Verstappen.
Yeah, of course, I can see that. So surely tomorrow we'll be there from 11 a.m. 4 hours of excitement. Formula One Grand Prix, Italy. We go from what happened, the madness, the insanity from the Belgian Grand Prix. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you too, Hans.
Of course, we continue here on the Joy Sports Link. We'll be getting into the football bit pretty shortly. Stay with us. This is Joy 99.7 FM. We've done approximately 26 minutes past midday. Live on the Joy Sports Link on Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Hans Mensando. We're getting into the football bit, and this week we saw the Extraordinary Congress of the Ghana Football Association adopting the statutes, draft statute tabled before them by the Normalization Committee. And of course, if you want to get into a bit of background, we know the Anas Arimia Anas number 12 documentary that exposed alleged rot within the annals of Ghana football. We went back and forth from trying to dissolve the Ghana Football Association to a threat of a FIFA ban to government and FIFA finally agreeing to put in place a normalization committee. We've had our own qualms with the workings of the normalization committee, but hey, finally, we took a major step towards getting football back to normalcy, or depending on where you stand, getting football back into the hands of the people who are supposed to run it. And so the statutes have been adopted. The next step is that we'll be looking at an elective Congress to elect the next leaders of the Ghana Football Administration. So as we go along, a lot of other developments will be popping up. But already, let me also mention that various people have thrown in their hat to stand to be elected as a president of the Ghana Football Association. You get into that a bit later here on the show. Try to see what they bring to the table, not as to whether they are fit to handle the position or not. That is not what we'll be getting into, but what they bring to the table, what experience, what competencies they bring to the table as far as that position is concerned. I've got with me Ebo Apia, and I'll get his first thoughts on the entire process that we saw during the weekend. Go and listen to various people who are involved. Mickey Charles, we'll hear from Keto Kreku, Dr. Mo himself, and Mr. George Free as well, who we understand will be standing to be elected as president of the Ghana Football Association. Ebo, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you, Hans, for having me.
Right. Your initial thoughts on the entire process and the outcome before we get to listen to all the other people.
Well, for me, it was a wonderful exercise. And it had its twists and turns, and how at a point I think we all thought that I was going to come to a halt. But as a football person, I knew that was my people on display.
Yeah.
It's important that people air their views, grievances,
absolutely,
concerns, so that nobody feels cajoled or forced to accept something.
Okay.
You realize that even for Luka,
yeah,
his posture at the beginning was a bit confrontational.
Okay.
But when
it's a major part of the discussion. Okay. People think that it amounted to intimidation and blackmail. But I mean, I thought he laid bare the reality. And the reality was that, look, if you didn't adopt the draft statutes, it's back to normalization. And that was a bare reality.
He was an observer. He acted out of the realms of an observer.
Okay.
If I have our own way, we should report him to FIFA for his conduct.
We'll get into
that. That he didn't conduct himself well.
Okay. Okay, right. Let's quickly go and take a listen to Dr. Kofi Amoah, who addressed Congress before we had Ms. Naudu Foliloti come into, go through the draft statute for the members of Congress. Let's take a listen to the chairman of the Normalization Committee, Dr. Kofi Amoah.
Thank you for staying with us at the GFA Extraordinary Congress. It's over for today, and we do have the president of the Normalization Committee Dr. Kofi Amoah, here with us. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you. Good to see you.
We interviewed Kwabena Eboah a couple of minutes ago, and when we asked him his general impressions of today, one of the first things he said was a huge plaudits to you in particular for leading what has been one of the most least controversial GFA congresses in recent times. How have you seen today's congress yourself?
Well, thank observers for saying that it went well. We have worked hard, and it's also an important assignment for a nation that has a tremendous amount of football talent. But getting to this point has been momentous because of all the things that created the normalization committee. And so you want to take the steps that to make sure that the things that have been identified to contribute to the cause of the downfall are eliminated through legislation, through the statutes. And we also took our time when the statutes came to give it to the football community to weigh in on it. So we have meetings with them, and they give us their input and all that. So some of the issues that came up initially were not a surprise to us, and we welcome that because it means that the practitioners of the game, the managers and administrators, are taking the process seriously. You know, this one will do this one will do that. We think we should do it this way and all of that. So yes, it's a milestone in the process of normalization, and we are happy, and we thank the delegates, the Ghana Congress delegates, for realizing the important step that we are in to clear that so that we can continue.
At a point, you sounded very frustrated when you said that, when you appealed to the football people to just adopt, let's move on because they will have a lot of time. At that moment, were you afraid that this would drag, honestly?
Not afraid, but concerned, because you know FIFA regulations and statutes. To have a Congress, you have to give notices, you know. All this take time. If you change something that FIFA has approved, it means now you have to redraft, send it back, and when it goes to FIFA, it's not just one DESCO. The people who came here, they are friends and lead, but they don't have decision on everything. It has to go through so many other steps before it comes back. So, but you see, changing things that are not really fundamental are easy. Congress can make changes all the time. So what is more important? Trying to perfect the statute document now, or going forward to start the football playing now, to get football going, and then make the small changes later. So that was the import of what I was saying.
Quick question. Are you looking forward to finishing your tenure?
Well, yes. Not because I'm frustrated.
Sure.
But because you cannot keep normalizing forever.
Sure.
Right now, there's no football playing. You know, somebody said that Kotoko and Ash Gold, if there was a league going, it will make them stronger and they will do better. And it's true, you know. So really, we don't want to be here more than a minute than as necessary.
Okay. So your final words, though, into the future. When you look back at this Congress, would you say that it was the seminal moment of your time as a normalization committee president?
Yes, it was, because the expectations, the radio commentary, the discussions, the flame of passions, and also, you know, our football, because of the outcome of Egypt, people are really not that happy, you know. So it is, and this is a stumbling block, because without passing this, really getting football playing, it seems remote, you know. So yes, it's an important step in the process. And Gary, I must say that for me, Kofi Amoah, I am saying that we need to have sober minds and have the right plan for a national football development. If we don't do that, this body of laws alone cannot do it, you know. So that's the next stage of the conversation. The policy sets that we must craft, including government fans and FIFA fans
Right.
to build Ghana football.
Thank you very much for your time, and congratulations on an extraordinary Congress that has gone extraordinarily well.
Thank you, Gary. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So that was Dr. Kofi Amoah in a conversation with my colleague Gary Al-Smith there after the extraordinary Congress. I've also got with me here in the studio Samuel Inimado, and of course I'll be getting his initial thoughts. I mean, well, you were there. I understand you had a bit of an issue with FIFA's rep, Luca, and you know, you spoke your mind. You told him what you thought of his conduct, but we'll get into that. your thoughts generally about the entire process and the outcome.
Well, the most important thing is that football won.
Yeah.
There were differences. There were some blocks, like especially the RFE is not ready to compromise with their numbers on the ESCO and all that. You understand?
Yeah.
It wasn't an easy thing, and if you don't judge or if you don't lobby them, you wouldn't get what you want, because the most important thing is to bring the game back.
Was it a case of unite or perish?
Somehow, because if we had not that 20 minutes, if we had not met to say that, man, we should forget our personal agenda and what we want for our block and our group and all that, and look at the game itself. If you look at Congress, when I was giving my speech, I was towing that line that if we sit down, there will be that unnecessary delay.
Okay.
And then you may not even end Congress, because the more people are tense, the more people are angry and they want a specific thing and they are focused on that, the more the tension rises.
Okay.
And the more communication within us, there will be distorted information too, because when we distort information, it will bring in tension and it will bring in confusion. So it's good we didn't get to that level, and all of us came to the agreement that we want football back, and we are all seeing it's been evident here, especially the national teams.
Okay.
They don't even have management. They don't have. That are 20 that went to Morocco, the same thing. It was only one person who went with them. So if you run the game like this, you'll be killing Ghanaians and then people will be angry. People will not be happy. And when the people are not happy, it affects the brand.
Okay.
And it's a brand that we need to rebuild and rebrand and repackage well and sell it to the people, for the people to buy into. When the people start wishing to have it, wanting to get it, and we create the availability and the convenience,
right? So
it will be a good product, and then we can develop the economy.
And that is where we are going to begin our discussion from. It's something that I talked about yesterday on First Take. Now, I picture Ghana football as an industry that produces a product that is targeted at an audience, if you like, or a market. I find it a bit problematic that probably the consumer didn't have a major say in all of this.
The fun.
Yes.
Football is a fun-centric sport. Without the fun, there's no football.
Okay.
But the fun does not participate at FIFA either. You see, the mistake we are all trying to make is that, one, football has the biggest event, not even sporting event, event in the world. That is the World Cup. If you bring it down to our weekend, every weekend, if you combine all the European leagues together, football still is the biggest event in the world.
Yeah.
Come down to our part of the world. It is now that you don't even see Saka Park being played. But before, if you go to Mamprobi, Mabruk, Tema Community, Shama, and those places, and they are playing coast football, you won't even get a place to stand. So over the years, football has metamorphosized, and we haven't changed.
Okay.
That's our problem.
That's the fact.
In Europe, have you seen that it's only the Premier League that has been able to properly market it?
Of course.
If you go to Amsterdam, there are things that are in Amsterdam that are not in the UK. But when it comes to football, they cannot match it.
But a major part of what the Premier League has done is because they sell to the fans and they consider their needs.
Yes.
I agree, but I'm saying that, you see, it's when you want to, because of my clinical background, I always talk about diagnosis.
Okay.
How have we gotten to where we are? Over a long, sustained period. I think the last time you could see fans being moved was the Don Bote era.
Yeah.
With Chastela era. That is when it was done.
Kofi Abanga brought a little.
I think the last bona fide star, of the Ghanaian league was probably Eric Bequin.
Well,
After Bequin,
we had
anybody
that
to the levels of Bequin.
House of Folk, Mahatma Otu's goal, and then
Michael Akufu.
My
Michael
point is that
Akufu.
I'm looking for players
Who had
could
moved.
move. And it was
Okay.
Don Bote and
Charles Taylor.
They were moving us. You see, they were not moving a one match. You're talking about that era. They were moving the whole season.
Okay.
If Accra House of Folk was going to Mediama, people would be there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what you need. You see, you don't need an individual to make an impact.
Okay.
You want to see that person. He goes to Wa. It means the people in Wa will be there to fill the Wa Park. You move him to Tamale.
They are going there to see these players.
Remember, I made that analysis about the community involvement.
And even I pray it's not even the Tamale Stadium, and then it's Kaladan.
You can imagine.
And then you take him there. And you see, for some reason, Asasia Band is no more.
Yeah.
But if
You
you
can
had
imagine
Asasia
Okoro
Band
United.
there, and you are going to
Let me
that
tell you
place-
something that happened. When Okoro United played in the FA Cup final at Cape Coast,
Uh-huh.
I think it was against Brecum Chelsea.
You were there
I was there,
Uh-huh.
and I was shocked.
at the performance.
And I'm talking Okoro United.
I'm telling you,
You know, they were not even a Premier League team.
Swedro is a very vibrant town. When All Blacks was
Yeah.
All Blacks, if you took Accra House of Folk to Swedro, it will take you 2 hours to be able to go to the stadium.
Absolutely.
So these are the dynamics of how we have come. Now, instead of having that knee-jerk approach, which we always do after every major tournament, we just want to bring hands down, bring Enim down, and then we solve the we patch it up there, and then we go. So over the period, we have compiled our issues over and over. So it's not just one issue.
Okay.
If you it will be a myopic analysis to
To
just
say it's
decide
just-
that it's this. Sometimes I hear people talk about the RFS. Yes, they may not be as what you want them, but have you retooled them? Have you empowered them? Have you given them the necessary resources to do what you expect from them? You just don't condemn a particular person. How can the person be functional when there's nothing to function? You can only do as much as you are allowed to. So all you did was to just provide them vehicles, and they would drive from their various regions and come. But when Blatter was there, it was different from what Infantino is doing now. Now it's a lot of checks and balances. You have to do A to get B. You have to do C to get D. These are the things. So I think that we, as a people, let's begin to appreciate one another and see each other's strength,
Okay.
and combine that strength to remodern Ghana football,
Right.
instead of trying to put people down. Because, like Anim told you, if that 20 minutes there was no tact, I was with somebody. I was one of the contestants. I can't mention his name, but he said, "This group, if they add 1 to their number, they will thwart everything. Let's engage them." And him can. I told him to. He was there, and I said, "Look, guy, if you guys go on this confrontational level, we will not arrive anywhere. Let's engage them. Let's judge all. Let them understand that maybe this is a new thing we are doing. People are human beings. When you talk to them, when you engage them, they will understand. Don't try to bring anybody down and take somebody up."
Okay. So, I mean, we can look at the statutes and feel that those who wanted certain things changed probably had genuine reasons. Is it that, what was the unity, and I think I asked that question earlier on, was the unity because you felt that, well, we want football to return into our hands, into our control? Was it more of that rather than the good of the game within the country?
I think everybody took the personal interest away. It was for the good of the game.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Everyone, you know, like I said before the Congress in one of my interviews, people's body language, the gestures, eye contact, the feedback. If you look at it at that angle,
We have arrived at it.
we dealt with those things at our previous subsequent meetings.
Okay.
GACA meeting, and there were meetings. Division 1, we had a meeting in Takrady and all that. We were able to bring
Iron
that
out.
kind of churn out a strategy and realize that if any of us become a little too much personal, we wouldn't get to where we are. So it was for the good of the game, because we love the game too much.
Okay.
Hans, look at what we are doing. Look at even the under-16 thing. Somebody will ask you, why do you stress yourself all this going round and all that? It is the love of the game. And let me tell you, if we develop the football economy, And that will be my major reason why
It's a huge
I want to
economy.
go on the ESCO. I'm not going on the ESCO just because.
You want to go on this go?
Yeah.
Okay, so that declaration here on Joy 99.7 FM, Samuel Inimado will be vying for a slot on the Executive Council of the Ghana Football Association. Okay,
Division
right.
1. There are 3 slots.
Listen, let's develop the football economy. If you look at what we did, it was something similar to thinking of the football economy.
Okay.
Now we want the game, not us. If we develop the football economy, everybody, every branch within the economy benefits. And like he told you, football is the biggest event in the world. We can all go and check on the internet. I have a lot of reports and articles on it.
That's without doubt.
So it is up to us to now implement, and enforce our rules and the statutes, and our structures. Because if we put the people there, and then we won't take decisions that will push us forward to the next level of the game, but rather personal interest. If somebody belongs to a particular group, somebody must go on relegation, we will change the rules. This cast thing with my youth, with Far Rangers, I was the vice president of Far Rangers at the time. Kim Faisal too, I was there. Kim Faisal, I was with Alaji when Alaji took the issue to court. It was a similar decision. Alaji can win. Why do we want to turn the rules of the game to favor other people just because somebody has a personal interest? It's something that will destroy us, because if you look at our leagues that has been going through these problems, sponsors pulling out, proper marketing strategies going on a halt just like that, because a sponsor is expecting some continuity and some kind of progress when it comes to the numbers. He's looking at the eyebrows.
Of course.
So when you go and then you hit, and then there's violence and all that. Somebody like me, I'm proposing that we should empower the community guys who are popularly known in the communities. These people can be made stewards, branded with corporate logos.
It's long overdue, isn't it?
They will be the ones who will manage the game when it comes to violent control. And you think that Gangaria, who is known in the community, if he's a steward, and he can even win awards as the best well-organized venue and all these
we
things.
put the Seydus to good use, eh?
Yes.
Right.
You see, Hans.
So there are a lot of innovative things we can do.
Hans,
Ebo,
I told you.
let me put this one to you.
Okay.
There are people who find it hard to believe that football people, in quotes, united for the love of the game. Why? Because for a very long time there's been this subtle confrontation between them and the NC. Case in point, the back and forth that arose out of the normalization committee special competition. So people find it really hard to believe that they united, but they didn't do it for the good of. They did it for themselves.
No, we put Ghana first. I was there. I was part of the main trying to get all the groups together. We put Ghana first. If we didn't put Ghana first, the Congress should have not even started. Ask me why. You go to a Congress, on the day of the Congress, it is when now the Foley is coming to do corrections that we had done that before. I've always said to myself that apart from grave digging, I don't know anything that starts from the bottom to the ground. And the NC behave like that. Why go to FIFA and seek approval and now come and consult stakeholders? They got it totally wrong. What they should have done was to have consulted us, taken our input. This chairman and general secretary thing, finally you adopted it. We told you we don't want it. And then truancy and arrogance made them do that. So it was a needless bravado. What are some of the words they use for us? Braggadocio. Needless words. You see, when Dr. Kofi Annan finished and he said we should adopt it, he got it wrong. We are not puppets. Excuse my language.
He doesn't tell you what to do.
You know he can't.
Yeah.
And when Achi started going through the process, he was stunned. He didn't know we had over-prepared. And Enim will tell you, if GACA hierarchy did not try to combine the forces, you're going to have about 3 or 4 presentations. But that's what GACA did.
That was what I was expecting, actually.
No, because they had Randy, Papse, and all of this, Palmer, Ket, everybody got involved. Otherwise, you would have had our 4 presentations that day. And you see, for the love of the game, we accepted it so that we can move on. So it is not as if, and you see, this is a lesson for people who come into authority.
Okay.
That you are there to serve. You are not there to lord yourself over people.
Right.
And that's all the posture of the NC. Look, if football people really wanted to antagonize this, we would have told now the Foley that because you did these changes and you didn't tell us, let's go back, give us the document. It's just prudent.
But that would have meant that the NC simply continues its work.
No.
Something that we know that football people don't want.
You see, let me tell you, Hans.
We were ready for that
Hans,
option too.
you cannot start
that you prolong their stay.
Hans,
we were ready
Hans,
if that would be the
you
issue.
cannot play league in this country now until like January.
Until in January.
So 1 more month will not kill us.
We were ready.
That's the irony is that we want to synchronize with Europe.
Okay.
They are already in session. So why the rush? But for the good of the game, for the amount of talents that are home that are not being used.
And that was what I was coming to. You still have players on contract that you have to pay.
Exactly. No, beyond the players, and him spoke to you about the economy of football. There's an ice water seller when Kotoko comes to Mankesim. Imagine Kotoko is playing an FA Cup in Mankesim. I come from Ekumvia Safa.
Yeah.
There's so many suburbs, Nana Beng,
absolutely,
all that area. Everybody will move from those suburbs to Mankesim just to go and watch Kotoko. It is a lot of money. So it is not because the posture of Dr. Oviamwa, we overlooked it. Even Luka.
We'll come to Luka.
We overlooked all those things.
We'll come to Luka and the conduct of FIFA in all of this.
It's not conduct of FIFA. Conduct of him as an individual.
Him as an individual, of course. And the way FIFA has been involved in all of this process. Yes. We'll analyze all of that. Let's take a listen to former Vice President of the Ghana Football Association, George Afriyie, also spoke to my colleagues after the Extraordinary Congress.
We are still here at the College of Physicians and Surgeons for the Ghana FA Extraordinary Congress. And what it is that today they were here to adopt certain statutes, and they've done that after a lot of deliberation. One of the key things we'll be looking out for in the future is an elective Congress. An elective Congress means that we are going to have elections. And elections means that we are going to have presidential candidates. We know that there's one who is here with us, George.
Yeah, it's good. We've got George Afriyie, who's got enough experience in the field. But George, first point, how would you grade this Extraordinary Congress?
Well, if you are familiar with the processes of the various congresses of the football associations and that of FIFA and CAF, you realize that these are the things that we have to go through. I mean, there will be disagreements here and there. This is not peculiar to only the Ghana Football Association congresses. This is the part where everybody who wants to be heard, everybody who wants to make some submissions into the statutes. Of course, the statutes was sent to us way time back, and then members have gone through and members have taken notes. So at the Congress, this is when people will try to make points and punch holes. So these things are normal. We do it always. It's no news.
But how emphatic was the fact that you guys asked for a break, went out, thought about it, came back, put your views and all of that? Because we know initially there was a sucker punch that almost looked like it was going to scare you guys out of the way.
So what you realized was that there were disagreements here and there. Yeah. There were views which were packaged from the GACA angle. There were views coming from the RFA's angle. There were views coming from the constituent bodies. So what we needed to do was that we needed to come on a round table. We needed to just agree to chart one course. So what we did was that to ask for a break, come, do your consultations, and then come back. And then I think that the trick also worked. We came back, and at the end of the day, we all agreed to one common cause.
So things have been set. The ball is set rolling right now, and we're looking forward to when elections will take place. Yep. George, you announced your intention to stand for presidency. Are you going to re-announce it now that we've more like gone through the new phase?
Well, of course, last year I did that announcement. But in the coming days, we are going to come out with a very comprehensive campaign plan. We are going to come out with a manifesto. We are going to come out with our vision for Ghana football. And so in the coming days, it's going to be very busy for all of us. And we need to sell the idea why a change must happen. we need to tell the Ghanaian public why George Afriyie is the right person for football. Trust me, at this juncture and at this point in our football history, we need a unifier. We need somebody who understands the status. We need somebody who understands the workings of football in this country and beyond. It is very important. This is not a time for any matramakwe. This is not a time for any trial and error. And so you need somebody who is very experienced, who is well marketed, who understands the terrain, and who is ready to deliver us to the modern football. That's very important.
Without a doubt, your name is one of the names that have come up strongly in all the quarters. Does that put a lot of pressure on you?
Not really, because I have had the opportunity to serve in various capacities at the Football Association. Remember, some of us work into football and then understudy so many great personalities, and I'm talking of so many great football administrators, the likes of Ewa Nyamiche, the likes of the late Jordan Anagula, the likes of Mr. Fred Krenzel. All these fine gentlemen has passed through the Football Association, where I was a member of the executive committee. I've had the opportunity to deputize for Mr. Kwesi Nyantakyi. I've had the opportunity when even Mr. Fred Krenzel was out of the country and acted on the capacity as the acting president of the FA. And so for me, I think that at this level, at where we are now, we need somebody who understands the history, who understands where we want to go, want to take our football to, and who is ready to take the bull by the horn. See, we may have to take so many critical decisions in order to be able to bring our football back.
Are you happy with the Electoral College as it stands now?
Yes, for now, I mean, once you have gone to a Congress to accept, whether you are happy or not happy, this is what we have, and we must accept it moving forward.
Gary?
Do you feel that after everything that's been done today, generally, the Congress or the decision-making body are focused on going in one direction? And I'm talking here like a football fan.
You see, the truth is that we had to make concession here and there. We were not too happy with so many things.
Yeah.
But the truth is that some of the football people, or not majority of the football people, believe that it is time for football to return to football people.
Yeah.
That's a fact. Yeah. You see, Gary, the fact is that for the past 1 year or few months.
14 months.
So for the past 14 months, football was not restored to its normalcy. Sure. And people were expecting that at least football, the normalization committee, could go down the grassroots to start normalizing football from the regional level to the top. For over 14 months, we've had only one organized NC special committee, and that's not good enough.
Sure.
And so trust me, the reason why we've made concessions to agree to everything that was presented to us except for few amendments is that we believe that let's take hold of our football. We have successive congresses, we can do amendments. Amendments are done in almost every congress that we go. So what we can do is that let's accept everything that is being given to us with the exception of just few modifications that we did.
Sure.
And then take the football. We had the opportunity to improve everything that they've done here today. So it is not like we are so happy, but we think that we need to get hold of
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress.
Okay.
Excellent. Many, many thanks, George Afriyie.
Right, so that was former Vice President of the Ghana Football Association, Mr. George Afriyie, speaking, and I will be hearing a bit more from the other people who have thrown in their hat to contest for the position of President of the Ghana Football Association. But let's talk about the FIFA rep on the day. Sammy, you had your own issues with him. Run us through, and for me, I felt that what he said was the bare reality. That look, I'm paraphrasing. In essence, you either adopt this document or, you know, we go back to the normalization period. Wasn't that a bare reality?
You want me to give the same thing to you like I give to him?
But that was a reality, wasn't it?
It was wrong.
Okay, so if you have failed to adopt the draft statute, what have happened then?
It was wrong because, first of all, you coming to the people, you yourself, later in the submission, it now says that, yes, it is you, Congress, you, the GFA Congress, who will adopt, who will vote, who will agree, who will accept these terminologies. So if you understand that, why do you start in your initial first submission and talk that if you don't accept this, then you people don't want your game back?
But the reality was that if you didn't accept it, we were still going on with the normalization.
We are. There are people of repute there, people who are really investing in it. Maybe he may not have even invested in a game for anything. Maybe he's just there because he had some opportunity. Some of us started investing in the game for more than 20 years now. You understand? We understand what we are doing. We understand like I said, now it is time for us to develop the football economy, for the people to know even our contribution to GDP.
Okay.
You understand me?
Right.
So if he comes in and he starts from that tangent, then he wasn't going to have it easy. And we were ready, like we told you. We were ready. We know we can't even play in a league. So we know in the worst situation, we're going to play in January. So we were ready that if we bring our inputs, and mind you, all the inputs that we made, the submissions that we made, is what they went and corrected, and they even added almost 70% of all the submissions when we had our meeting, our concerns about the status they had brought in and what they should do. Almost all of them, they picked almost everything that we brought them.
Okay.
So it tells you that, like Ebo was saying, and that's a problem with us here. So maybe NC was also going to do the same thing when it comes to African leadership. You understand?
Right.
When you want to pick something from the top to the bottom,
please read.
It's a serious problem.
Ebo has given me a text to read. Okay, he says, Proverbs 15 verse 1. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. Wasn't that the plain truth? Again.
You see, let me tell you something. If you say, Sammy, and then you say, oh, please, Sammy, it's not the same.
Okay.
But you said the same thing.
So it was the truth, but it was how he said it.
He, as an observer.
It wasn't, to me, it wasn't.
Is he as an observer?
Truth how?
Truth as in if the draft statute wasn't adopted.
A neutral person coming in, whilst you know there are two different groups.
You see,
where one will have his own way of coming and the other will bring his own, and you saying that one should just accept it.
You see, the posture of
maybe he was unaware.
No, the posture
of the factions within the
factions. It's not like factions.
Even
we are Congress.
Yes,
we are delegates.
The highest decision body.
The highest decision making body.
Even within that body, there were disagreements over what direction. But that's until you call for 20 minutes to go and agree.
That is democracy.
That is democracy.
Okay,
look, that's the beauty of it.
You see, maybe he took a cue from Dr. Hamwa. When Dr. Hamwa finished, he said, "Adopt it." You remember? So the moment Dr. Hamwa said we should adopt it, I think that's what he thought that. It's like this is not Sierra Leone, this is not Mali. This is a place where we are the black star of Africa. We had our independence, we didn't fight.
Okay.
And Nkrumah sat the British down and said, look, guys, you have to give it to us. Even if I have to work for some time to get independence, that is who we are as a people. We know our left from our right. So his donation on that day set the ball for confrontation.
Okay.
That's why Barbados got up and then asked him a question. Is this what you are trying to say? Because for people like Barbados, he was lucky Barbados was lenient on him. Because he could have taken him on. He's a lawyer. Sometimes when we mention the word people, football people, you think that we are just some people who are just...
Yeah.
No.
Yep.
90% of people there had 2 master's degrees inside there.
Of course. And I know a lot of the people.
A lot.
I can attest to that.
Kwamba Nyaku is now with GMPC.
Yeah.
But he's a football person.
He was a PhD.
So when you talk about football people, these are people who knows what they are about. All the contestants, most of them have
done their masters.
All of them. So it is Papse, if you put Papse's credentials down, you run away. Yeah. These are not people who don't know what they are about. So he had no business
as an observer
to just go the way he went.
Okay.
If we record him and go take that tape to FIFA, he will not be allowed to come back.
Why are you not doing it? You see, but that's a challenge I have with some of the things.
No, why at this stage?
Why are we not doing
see,
it?
when I wanted to reply to him, when I wanted to tell him when
the guy got up.
If you think his conduct was wrong,
I gave it to him. No, listen. When I told him that even Blatter, the golden boy, who some of us in Africa know what he did for Africa, when that scandal of corruption hit him, FIFA was not closed down. FIFA was allowed
to reform itself.
FIFA. So you come here to tell us a different thing. Where are you coming from? Are you not coming from FIFA? So it means if we had wanted to go on that tangent, we would have disrupted what we wanted. And that's why I told the chairman, the president, that please, there is an agenda. Because we had a focus.
We didn't
want anybody to play games, and then the time we realized time is already not on our side. So that's why I said there's an agenda. Somebody had already removed, and it has already been seconded. So I also seconded. So we can move on from there. So we will have a meeting. We won't be here for you to be smart and create that tension unnecessarily, and then delays, and then somebody will say that didn't comport ourselves.
A week before the
week
before the Congress, I came up and I said, let nobody do anything funny for the Congress Day.
Why did you come up with that declaration?
Because what actually transpired by you coming there, look, now the fool is a lawyer and she knows it, but you have to forgive her because maybe when the Luka came down is when they had the opportunity to insert those things.
I think,
but by law. But you see, what she did before we started the Congress, she had a way of cooling down tempers. Because without what she did very well. It means that most people had to recock their guns because they had 2 or 3 bullets to fire. Yeah. Then she had come in and said, look, this, we have done this, but she threw most people off balance. And
she already started adopting some of the things we have already proposed.
And if we had an antagonistic position, we would have said, okay, because we don't have this final copy, let's close the Congress, let's go down and let's give us some time to also go through it. But we put the interest of the nation first. And we said, it doesn't matter, let's still go through it. But then what Dr. Kofi Amon was saying, that, okay, adopt it.
And then you can go make whatever changes.
No. Remember when we even proposed the 15?
Yes.
Yeah. They told us about the
law,
company school
act. Now,
and the board and all that. We accepted that.
Yes.
Definitely.
You see, then Randy got and said, okay, we'll take that into consideration. And that also helped.
It was a plan B to us.
Yes.
That it will be that we knew. You see,
Sami is revealing strategy.
Yeah. You can't go and approach such an agenda without a plan B.
Look, there was a major plan by the football people before we went it. We met, re-met, continued meetings. GACA had meetings up to
that meeting we
midnight of 11 2 continuous dates. A lot of effort went to it. You have to applaud the football hierarchy.
Okay.
They were calling, phone calls were going up, calming tempers down. A lot of work went behind the scenes. And even on Congress Day, when tempers flared up, we rose up to the occasion and said, guys, it doesn't matter. Let's put our everything aside. Ghana football must win that day. And we realized that the people of Ghana are more important than us. That is why we allowed it to go through.
We've done almost 30 minutes past 1 live on Joy 99.7 FM, and this is the Joy Sports Link. My name is Hans Mensando, sitting in for your regular host Nathaniel Lato. We've been talking about the Ghana Football Association's Extraordinary Congress, and we're getting into another aspect of it. Let's take the document that has been adopted and look at the changes that the key changes that we are likely to see. Let me go through a few of them. We detailed about 8 of them. So we are looking at the 48 teams for Division 1. That has been maintained. It will be reduced to an 18-team National Division 1 league after 2 seasons.
Well, when we come in, we're going to make it 24. Our plan is to do it 24. And we'll use the years. You know, you can't just reduce it.
Okay.
So we'll give ourselves up to at most. They are saying 2 years.
2 years.
But we can say 3 years.
Okay.
Because you want to have a National Division 1 league. You want, and it comes back to this football economy thing that we're talking about. If we develop the economy well, we'll have that sponsors who will be on the Division 1 league. And then the Division 1 league will be national. It will also have all the other benefits that it needs, like the broadcast rights and all those things, marketing and all the promotions when it comes to community involvement, because you need a community involvement.
Why have we failed to meet that standard over the years, in your opinion?
I think we weren't that proactive enough to adapt to the changes. The English Premiership hasn't been the same 10 years back.
Of course.
The German Bundesliga hasn't been. They kept being more strategic. They focus the vision. They know that this is where the trend is going. And we are in the global world. We all knew globalization was coming in. What are the benefits of globalization? How can we market our product well? We have Haas and Kotoko. How are we? It's our cash cow when we are playing our Clasico. Look at the way the Spanish Clasico is promoted.
Yeah.
How do we do ours? When Man U and Liverpool are promoted, what do they do? So we have to start from the scratch. Like I told you, we've lost it from more than 20 years now, especially when, when we entered the Fourth Republic. I think President Rawlings started the First Republic.
Yeah.
The first of the Fourth Republic. Go and check his State of the Nation address. All of us give information to him that grassroots football, coast football, and every branch of the game. That is infrastructure, the coaching development, the administrator, the referees should start from the grassroots.
Okay.
But ask ourselves, has any of the past administration, including the ministers, develop any documents, blueprint on it that we should do it? This is the program. It's a policy. Has it been done?
Not to the best of my knowledge. Hold your thoughts there. Let me announce that you can join the conversation on WhatsApp, 0244340437 on WhatsApp. We've been talking about the Ghana Football Association's Extraordinary Congress. We are currently dealing with the key changes that have been made to the Ghana Football Association statutes. The draft statute that was adopted, the key changes that we are likely to see now. I'm currently talking about the 48 teams of Division 1 have been maintained, and it will be reduced to an 18-team National Division 1 league after 2 seasons. Sami Animado tells me that they are thinking about expanding it to 24 in the next maybe 3 or 4 years. So that is a plan. But of course, we have to wait and see. Another of the key changes has to do with juvenile football has been maintained, and that the NC in its proposals had merged them with schools and colleges football to help curb age cheating. This you rejected. Why?
For me, I think whoever wins the Football Association will have to tell us his plan for juvenile.
I'm telling you,
for football.
For me,
you have to look at the Milo schools and colleges where we unearth a lot of talents, and so it's important to have a national policy. You see, in England, the amount of money you always bring England in. And so if you go back to England,
of course, best
practices. The result is there.
Yeah, best practices.
The amount of
Under
money
20.
they put
almost 30 million pounds
yearly. So maybe we may have to engage the government and say,
that's
maybe
crucial.
You cannot give us physical cash, but can you give us one quality pitch in every district in Ghana? You see that you have to start from somewhere, because one district, one factory. Okay, so give us a district football center, not
simple,
just a park. Football center, maybe because of the schools. Normally, if
so,
I'm looking at.
Let's look at Mamprobi.
Let's use Cape Coast. Let's use Cape Coast. You don't want them to go to the Cape Coast Stadium. Okay. Because they will mess it up for you.
Right.
So you build the old stadium. You do 1,000 or a 2,000 capacity around it. So that is what we use for the
community games.
Out of the inter colleges, that is when you get the talents. Because you see, a product like Neymar and Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo, not Zero, these are people that were carefully picked and went through a particular system in Brazil.
And it's a national system.
And they became an asset. If you quantify the money that those two people has brought back to Brazil, it's just like looking at Michael Essien and maybe Samuel Oseko.
Badebo, in terms of developing football talent, the schools are doing a job with inter-college,
But we don't have it as we used to have it.
I'm coming. So,
Hans, do you know
my
all
thinking
the boys
was this.
who play for the school teams are all coast teams players?
Okay, true.
None of them is
so. Why don't we do that merger and properly monitor their development between the schools and their coast teams? This also, according to the NC checks, the big problem of age cheating.
You see,
why? I'm trying to understand why this was rejected.
I think that we will have another Congress where we will discuss grassroots football and juvenile football in the heat of what is going on. I think it's inappropriate to be able to have a blueprint
with some of these
for
things. These are technical issues.
That is the foundation of football in this country.
Okay.
If you ask my opinion, that's not how to go about it.
Okay.
Let's relax. England didn't get up one day and just said, this is how we are doing.
Of course.
You need to research. You need to be able to come up with solutions. You see, look at the situation on the ground and then come out with concrete measures done over a particular period that will produce what you want. Like I keep telling you, only grave digging starts from the top. Everything starts from the ground.
It's a fact, Hans. That's what I'm saying. If anybody wants me to endorse him, to tell him that you are capable, if you don't have any proper program,
it's grassroots.
It's for grassroots.
It's grassroots.
You are just talking. You only want, listen, most people only want power.
Yes.
I said it's not about power. People want to
I'm
hold
sure
power.
I'll be speaking to a lot, almost all the candidates, and that is one key area that
you
we
want to find out.
Exactly, you need to have a proper
Sammy,
plan because you see, like you said, it's all about the foundation. Without juvenile football, I mean, we don't have football in this country at all.
Yes.
Let's move on. Now there are now 120 delegates who make up Congress. It was previously 123. The NC had proposed a 94-member body.
Yes, but remember they came back with 120. Then we even went back with 110.
Okay.
And then we went back again and it became 120.
What's the rationale behind the 120?
The 120 tells you the number of clubs, representation, not clubs, representation that should be at Congress.
Okay.
That is how it became 120 because you're looking at the regions, you're looking at the Division 1 clubs, you're looking at referees, you're looking at PFAG, you're looking at schools and colleges. Security service. You needed everybody to be represented. Women football.
Yes.
So we diagnosed it, realized we need to compromise. We need to find a way to look at the best way to move on. And mind you, there is a country, you can check now, there's a country that has about 200 something delegates.
Okay.
And those countries are not even big countries. So it's not about the number. It's about what you think.
You see, it's a stakeholder engagement.
Will be within your
and
own jurisdiction.
Everybody,
people will be well represented.
That's it.
Like they took juvenile out. How can you take juvenile out?
I was shocked.
It was wrong.
I mean, I was shocked. Look,
and
I was.
It tells you that we were just going back, like a boy saying, we were just going back again. That again.
That shocked me.
And then we will only be thinking of. And I'm telling you, Hans, it's a problem until we I'm giving you this assignment. Every aspirant, ask him about his juvenile problem. Don't let him go free, because if they all come and they all go back to the same where they are focused on blaster. Now look at under 17, under 20, the women football. We should have a national under 15 team. Even in Europe, they have national under 10 teams.
That's true.
Boys and girls, national, not regional. They have, and we can have it. And that's where I also took my argument from the regional RFs. You know, when I engaged them, like Ebo said, after my interview. Some of them were not happy, but I engaged Kotoro. I engaged, I think, Linford.
Yes.
And I told them that, if you please think through it well, if you look at your region and really focus and have a plan and strategic plan for your region, you may not even think of ESCO. Because the duties and your core mandate, what you can use your power there to do for the game, because you are the main stakeholder when it comes to grassroots football.
Hans.
So, when I started talking about it, I told them they should look at the numbers. You already have the numbers. Now, corporate organizations are also looking at the numbers. You already have the clubs. Even internal fund generation, you have it.
So I get the sense that everything from here on has to be geared towards getting the numbers that would attract, corporate sponsors, corporate Ghana to bring in their money.
You must sell the product. You must sell it. And one thing that stops corporate organizations from coming in is violence, hooliganism.
Okay.
And then what? Referees, cheating and all that.
Integrity.
Integrity. And then what else? And then the judicial issues. These are three cardinal areas that cause a lot of trouble with our game.
Okay.
Now, judicial issues. Why do we applaud that of the FA and the Europe and all? When the law gets you, they don't wait. So in one of our meetings, I said, I said yes. To me, when the law hits you, pam.
Do you remember that Real Madrid put a chap's name on the paper?
Of course.
Immediately, the law just applied.
That is our problem here. People want to favor somebody, and I know somebody, that one is not the game.
Here's a question to you, Sammy. These things are things that have gone on for a very long time. We say that we don't want these things to happen anymore. Okay? And for those outside of the football fraternity, and I want to talk about the bigger Ghanaian public, they are worried because we are going back to the same people under whose watch these things happen. It's the same people who run football that today are saying that we don't want this. How can people trust that indeed we are going to be seeing a different age?
Let me help him. These politicians that rule us, have they all not been part of their various political parties over a sustained period? Are you saying that because President Nana was a foreign minister under President Kufuor, he is going to do exactly what President Kufuor did? He has a vision of his own.
Okay.
He brought in free SHS. I remember President Kufuor did some factories special initiatives. That was President Kufuor's vision. But he has a different vision on free SHS. Whether you like it or not,
that's his vision.
That is his vision.
And for me
so
to come in
you cannot say that because this MPP was 8 years ago did this
didn't deliver in your opinion.
No,
Hans,
this same MPP
you cannot do that.
Okay. You know the question came to me, right?
Yeah.
Now let me tell you, that's why there's going to be integrity test, and now it's not going to be under the carpet.
I was going to come to that. So Sammy, I want you to hold the integrity test because that's a very important part of this.
So answer your question.
Yes.
Okay. So when it comes to that side of it, somebody like me, I've not been there.
But that's not good.
You've seen what I've done,
of course,
over the years.
Of course.
So now I'm putting my credentials out there. So you also test me and ask me, why do I want to come in? I tell you, I've told you some of it.
Hold that thought. Let's move on to the next step in terms of the changes. We'll come to that. The term limit for the GFA president and the vice president. So the term limit for a GFA president and their vice will be 2 terms of 4 years each. And previously we had 4-year unlimited terms. You know,
if I had my own
how
way,
important is this?
Number one, the most important thing is that the unlimited has been curtailed, which is the most important thing. If I had my own way, would have copied and pasted what FIFA is doing. But the majority of people think that we should go our political way, and so that's fine. So our political system is for 2 terms. So that's what we adopt. It is fine because then it also gives the younger generation a time that please, if you wait in 8 years, you have.
It's not only about that. You don't even
have
power for
time
more
to
than
build your capacity.
I'm coming,
you don't even need power for more than 8 years. What do you need for?
Sammy, I'm coming. I'm saying that, you see, in this part of the world, the way we look at things are different. Somebody goes to parliament, mere for ex gratia. Somebody goes to parliament to build a library. Somebody goes to parliament to build a road for his community. Everybody has the reasons why they seek power. How many of our leaders in Africa will actually serve us? How many? How many that these same people have been with politicians? Exactly.
For that side, it will
so let's not. You see, Hans,
an angle that will not help.
We are a culture-based people with our own values.
Okay.
And so I believe that if the majority of people think that in Ghana we have 2-term limit for the president of Ghana, and so we should adopt that for the president of the arm for it.
And I think that Congress was unanimous in accepting
because
this.
Of the,
I don't think anybody had.
No, because of all that happened. Yes.
Okay. The Ghana Football Association Executive Committee will now be called the Executive Council. The NC has suggested that they be called the Board of Directors, and this one I understand that the thinking was that you wanted to conform to what FIFA was doing. FIFA is
it is simple.
Yeah.
That is why even to us, when we even question them about the CEO and all those things, they realize, and I don't know, anyway, sometimes you also, it's something like, it's a human
They had a good intention anyway.
That
but they
corporate strategy
yes.
of trying to do the thing, a corporate thing, was not bad, but we should understand that FIFA, that's why I refer to look at that, with all the scandals, nothing changed.
Okay.
They came back and they've won their integrity back. Why can't we do same? So we can't be changing. Remember the logos and all those things. We can't be changing.
Needless.
FIFA says we need to move on. We need to rather focus on. To me, what they should have done. To me, the NC. Although I still congratulate them for the little they've done, because you can never say they've not done anything. Especially with what now did strategically engaging us and bringing our
Hans.
Our
before we continue, I would personally want to commend now Odufole. I think
she did a brilliant job.
She did a wonderful job.
I was working.
I've been one of her harshest critics, but
yes, I'm also a big critic of her. But I think how she rose up, how even after the thing went, she got. Because people didn't even understand when she was calling for people for the input. Because there was a lot of suspicion. So a lot of people didn't go. I was of the opinion that people shouldn't have gone anyway because of the way she went about it. But when she took the podium and she began to do her presentation, and she said that, yes, we've listened to you, you gave us these complaints, we've added it and gone and come. Ask him. It deflated most of us.
Exactly.
Because we're really going to fire that day.
That's where I was going. That the way you need to give credit to her. And you can go and check on my
excellent
and everything immediately after.
Yes. I personally would like to congratulate her.
And then how she also comported herself and was able to.
I think the communication was even spot on.
Yes. You know, and the way.
Look at how she handled the body.
Yeah. The body language.
Yes.
Exactly.
You see, this is the difference between her and Luka.
You understand?
That's the difference between
Luka,
her and
Luka in submission straight away.
It's the element of diplomacy.
Exactly.
Yes, did very well.
Look,
and I think congratulations to her for that.
She's an example of how women in this country should rise up. Because the terrain she had come, she was not a football person, and she had been thrown in there. We bastardized her. We really gave it to her,
and it's a rough terrain,
very rough.
Ghana football is a rough terrain,
and I think for once, let's be positive and say, look, madam, thank you,
kudos.
She did a wonderful job.
Kudos. Now the Foley. Let's move on. The executive council members can stand for 3 terms of 4 years, as opposed to an unlimited term previously.
Yeah, but it's okay, because I think that what the thinking behind is that maybe somebody has an ambition from the executive committee to go into the presidency.
Okay.
It gives you that flexibility to be able to do it. So I think it's a wonderful option. Okay. I agree.
And finally, the GFA will no longer use, and this for me is very important, that the GFA will no longer use government auditors, but now employ internationally recognized auditors. Is it a case of not having trust in our system, in our system, and so you want to look outside of our system, or is it that you want to enhance your integrity?
That's the word.
You just answered.
You've answered the question. We have a brand that we want to sell.
Okay.
We've had issues. It is happening to every institution. Even presidencies have issues of scandals and all that. But how do you come back? How do you repackage yourself and brand yourself to start the good corporate governance practice?
Transparency.
And this is key. Accountability is key. So if we don't take decisions that will let the people out there, the corporate organizations, the people, the consumers, the customers, know that these guys are charting a new course, something that will let them become more transparent, more open, and more accessible, and more of an organization that wants to really sell itself well. So straight away, this sends a message out there, and these guys are serious now.
Okay.
Hans,
let Sami finish.
Okay.
FIFA uses these people that we are talking about.
Okay.
So if we want to go and learn and meet the standards of FIFA, to be able to attract that kind of eyebrows, and then the customers to have confidence in us, this is what we have to do.
That doesn't it in a way indict, our system as well?
Not necessarily. No. There are top 4 accounting firms in the world. They are top 4. So if, let's say, we're doing a project and Ernst & Young Ghana is the one standing and saying that give this amount of money to Ghana Football Association, we will ensure its disbursement.
Okay.
We will ensure that it goes through a particular procedure. For instance, when they gave us money to go to Africa, you remember, sometimes the government had a revolving fund for Africa.
Yeah.
So let's say government decides that, okay, let's say $500,000, Ernst & Young Ghana, take it. Any Ghanaian club that goes to Africa, please, he should be able to earn money from that and use it to refund themselves. So now that the agreement is now no more between government of Ghana and that particular football team, who can easily decide not to pay or unpay. But then you sign an agreement between you and those top 4 accounting firms. They will, before they give you the money, you will go through a particular thing. Probably, these accounting firms, they are strict rules. What to comply.
Absolutely.
Accounting software, for instance, they will insist on an accounting software. They will insist.
Even the Bank of Ghana is using, these international records.
They will insist on deliverables.
Yeah.
They will insist on certain things. I'm privy to a software like SAP. SAP is one of the biggest accounting softwares in the world. Bayern uses it. Citi uses it. All these big corporations uses it. So imagine that Ghana Football Association is on such one of those major softwares. Everything will be clear for everybody to see.
Absolutely.
Then, if you want to attract money, you see, anybody who wants to invest in you is looking at something they call return on their investment. What are we going to make if we put money into Ghana football? And that's why the entertainment industry has surpassed us. Remember when they started at the conference center, they used not to fill it. Now they filled it. They went for a dome. They've gone for extra domes. Now, do you understand? Because now it is becoming attractive over the period. But they should brace up. We are coming. We will overtake them. We will take our place again. Ghana football will be sweet and rich again. I believe so. No more will we have Ghana football the way it used to be. It will be better than it was. I can assure the people of Ghana.
Okay, and finally, another very important, change that we are going to see, that contracts and summed it up, contracts, the FA's contracts are going to be signed by the General Secretary. It was proposed that he be called a CEO, which was rejected. So the General Secretary is going to sign contract and they will be witnessed by the President. What's your take on that?
No, we changed it.
You changed that?
Yes.
Okay, so what was it going to be?
Our proposal is going to be in the form of the ESCO.
The Executive Council.
Taking a decision. And then maybe telling when the President is going, he needs to go 1 or 2 people.
Okay.
If we mandate the General Secretary, but he cannot take the decision because he was not voted for.
Yes.
Okay.
He is not accountable like the President.
He's not a director of the company.
So the President is the one who is accountable.
So he's going to sign the contract.
So the
President will sign it.
But the official Chief Executive. But he goes to what do you call it now?
Hans,
are we not going to have the same situation where we have?
No, there's a difference here.
What's the difference?
The same situation where you think the President alone go and do it, and then he wouldn't tell anybody.
And then he comes and he tells you the document is confidential.
Check. Let me read ours to you.
Okay.
I think I need to go on.
Sammy, Hans, whilst he looks for his write-up,
right?
When it comes to good governance and transparency, is the systems, administrative systems and procedures that you put in place that cannot be circumvented. Example, if you have an executive council of 11 members, what it means is that for you to sign a contract of that nature, it has to be ratified by that board.
Okay.
All the 11 people. They must have copies of the contract. They will go through it, ratify it, and agree that this is what. So by the time you are going to sign, you are going as mandated by that body that you represent, not representing yourself. I hope you get it. So the problem, if you see, even the old system, it's not as if it wasn't good. It was. Did we actually implement what we were supposed to do? So those who were on the executive committee, did they actually go through those things? So it is not.
Looks as if the President had too much powers, where he would do things. Sometimes they would say that they would do. Some of them were from the grapevine that he didn't tell them and all those things. You understand? But in this case, it's going to be mandatory.
You understand?
That he brings it to the executive council, right?
Yes,
executive council
for ratification.
Okay. You can't just say you've gone somewhere.
No, you can't do that.
It's not going to happen. And it's a common practice.
You see, this is a company limited.
So the President still signs a contract,
yes,
but it has to be ratified by the executive council.
He can't do anything.
Who witnesses it?
I think it will be appropriate when the CEO in this case
approved and he definitely goes with his general secretary.
Okay. So he witnesses,
or even if they can send the general secretary go,
or even if the president is undisposed, the vice or anybody on the council,
they can send him.
Can do that.
So
the other executive member.
The check and balance here has to be the ratification from the executive council.
You see, for you media people, I think that this presents a wonderful opportunity. Let this campaign become a issue-based campaign.
I told you.
And say to Ebo, you want to be the FA boss. Why do you want to be FA boss? What do you bring on board? Why should the people of Ghana entrust you? What have you done before? What are your personal values?
That is what I want us to try to.
This is what the campaign
for a lot of people don't know
about.
A lot of people don't know the people who want to become FA president.
But nobody knows.
But you do. You do know. No, not the people as in their person,
yes,
but in the work they've done.
Yes.
And we'll try to, just lay it there without calling judgment on anyone.
That's
okay,
right.
so when we put a name there, we try to project how many years has he been in there, what has he done, and all of that. We'll try to put their credentials.
Is that what you really want to do?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, we have to lay all of that on the table.
No problem.
So that people have a fair idea of the sort of people who want to lead Ghana football.
That's fine.
And one of them is Keto Kweku, and he has already mentioned that, of course, he wants to be the next Ghana Football Association player. Actually announced his intent about last week. Yes, early last week. Let's take a listen to him after the Extraordinary Congress. Of course, you can keep your views and your comments coming through on WhatsApp 0244340437 here on the Joy Sports link.
Right, so more on the GFA Extraordinary Congress that's just ended. And I've got Keto Kweku, who is the Executive Chairman of Dreams FC, joining me to do a little bit of analysis of what we saw. Generally, how did you see the response of football people to what the normalization committee had to present to them?
Well, first of all, I want to speak about the turnout.
Yeah,
I think that the turnout by clubs was very impressive, because this is what we've been calling for almost 9 months, okay?
And I guess we had a full house. And for me, that's a very, very significant signal. Beyond that, I came here with a clean heart, with an open heart. I came here with a firm belief that when we sit together as football people and decide to think Ghana first, would always have a compromising situation. And today, we're able to show that quality. We arrived at a resolution that is good for the game.
I saw football people decide to want to have a break, go out, have their deliberations, come in, do the voting. How indicative is this of how much you have improved from things before?
I think that right from the word go, we have always said that if the NC had been engaging enough, we would always find easy solutions to the perhaps enormous problems that they thought they had, okay? And today we wanted to show it. So at a point in time when there was a seeming stalemate, we said, look, let's have a break. Let's engage ourselves a bit more. And after 40 minutes, we arrived at a solution. And once we came back to the hall, it was quite easy for us to exit again.
So clearly now the road is open, more like, for the elections, which is crucial. Are you comfortable with the Electoral College and the back and forth with all of that reduction?
So long as I was part of this Congress, so long as I was part of the decision making, I should be comfortable with the Electoral College, okay? And I don't have any untoward reservations about what we have already discussed. Having said that, I think we will all be ready for the upcoming elections.
There was a bit of buzz about your video announcing your intentions to be the next Ghana footballer, or want to contest to be the next Ghana Football Association president.
I think that George, I think that our industry has gone a bit stale. I think that we need new ideas, we need new energy, we need innovative ideas that will bring in the necessary passion levels to raise the adrenaline levels of everybody. And by so doing that, we should be able to reposition the product called the Ghana Football or Ghana Football, and hopefully be able to cut corporate Ghana back into our industry. Because believe me, as we speak, it's so stale, so uninteresting. There's lack of energy. And of course, the adrenaline levels of everybody is too low for my liking. And this is what we bring on the table.
Thank you very much, Kes, for your time. I wish you the very best of luck.
Still believe.
Go ahead. Still believe.
Keto Kweku speaking to my colleagues Gary L. Smith and George Adu Jr. at the College of Physicians and Surgeons, where the Ghana Football Association's Extraordinary Congress was held. And he's one of the people who have thrown in their hat. Another person is Nana Yao Amponsa. Of course, a lot of questions over Nana Yao Amponsa. There are people who feel that he's strongly affiliated to the ruling MPP. And I tell people, look, politics permeates every facet of the Ghanaian society. Football is not spared. And so maybe it's not really an issue. But let's take a listen to him also. And we'll come back and listen to Mickey Charles as well.
Thank you very much for joining us here at the College of Physicians and Surgeons, where we've had the GFA Extraordinary Congress. It's Nana Yao Amponsa, who looks very, very tired. Have you slept?
I haven't slept much because yesterday we had a GALCA meeting to review the statutes from 11 a.m. to about 10, almost 8 p.m. or beyond 8 p.m. I had to go back home and, still review the documents ahead of today. Got here very early today around 7:30 a.m. And obviously we've not had lunch. So I'll be a bit exhausted. But I'm going to do this for God and country.
As they say, for the good of the game.
For the good of the game, for God and country.
Let's go to something that tickles my fancy. Initially, though, it looked like there wouldn't have been an agreement between the football people and the normalization committee. Tellingly, a 20-minute break was asked for, where the football people went out, you came, everything changed. Within minutes, things had been resolved. In that 20-minute break, can you expound on, because we are not used to seeing such a unified focus of football people like that. Can you speak to that 20 minutes? What happened there?
So basically, we came here, first of all, as individual clubs, and we came here as also individual bodies. We had GALCA membership, we had the RFAs, we had the constituent bodies. So what happened was that if you realize within the first session, there were divergent interests. And as they say, politics is about who gets what, when and how. So RFAs were pushing their agenda, the GACA were pushing their agenda, other constituent bodies were pushing their agenda. So what happened within that 20 minutes break was to converge and negotiate Georgia to have a common front between all these divergent groups. And at the end of the day, we managed to make some compromises here and there, because once parties come to the negotiation table, it means they want a forward march. So that was exactly what happened within the 20 minutes, and we had a way forward. So I'm grateful to the football people. We have proven to the world that we are not as divided as was thought. We are a unified body as individuals coming from individual homes and individual bodies who have divergent opinions. But the bottom line is that at the end of the day, we allow the general interest to overcome any individual interest.
Now, we do know that you'll be looking forward to being on that presidential ballot when it comes to the elections. Just for the benefit of the record, have you declared officially already?
I declared my intention 2 years ago in October 2017 when President Nyantechi was still in the seat. I launched my manifesto even then.
Yeah.
And I've carried on to share my vision with the football family, with the football people. And that's exactly what I continue to do. And I believe that come the end of the elections, I will be the next president of the Ghana Football Association. I believe that we need somebody who can help us restore the integrity of our game. I believe that we need somebody who understands the commercial aspect of our game to be able to make it a commercially viable entity. I believe that we need somebody who has grassroots football at heart, who understands how to build that foundation on which we'll build the superstructure of Black Stars. So at the end of the day, if we put all these things together, I think that the football people will be looking for somebody who will take the game to the next level. The issue we have is that we've made progress, we've taken some baby steps, but whilst our compatriots take 10 steps, we take 1. And I believe that we need to double up to bridge that gap. And I believe that Nana Amponsah have demonstrated over and over to the delegates that I'm the person to take us to the next level.
Nice one. What do you think of the integrity test, if it should be brought? Do you support it?
I have no issues at all. I believe that what brought us into the normalization period and this significant occasion was an integrity issue. The expose, highlighted some integrity issues within our game.
Yeah.
I have said that corruption perception is something that damages countries, damages institutions. When Transparency International says that there is corruption in a certain environment or jurisdiction, it's about a corruption perception. Yeah. So I think that to be able to deal with that corruption perception, we need to win ourselves of all integrity issues. We need to demonstrate that we have gone through an integrity test to prove that our leadership are people with integrity, and we want to carry that integrity forward. We also need to be transparent as an association to bridge the gap of the negative publicity of corruption. So I don't see why anybody who wants to move this association forward will stand against an integrity test, because I think that
a lot of your prospective opponents don't seem to be too excited about it. What do you have to say about that?
That would be very surprising for me. It would be very surprising for me, considering that is an issue of integrity that brought us where we are.
Yeah, but their argument is that integrity, what constitutes integrity, is subjective. We interviewed Alhaji Leperua MNE Jaula, and he said he's not for it because what constitutes integrity is subjective. What might be an integrity issue for you might not be for me.
I think that is neither here nor there. I was an intermediary once, and in the FIFA regulations it says that an intermediary, a person who is admitted as an intermediary, must have an impeccable character. That's an integrity test. You are taken to an integrity test. Because listen, you are going to lead an association. You are going to lead a country. You should be somebody that have no blemishes. Nobody is perfect, but nobody can also accuse anybody of anything without proof. So it's not as if I will stand here and say Gary has done ABC, and that becomes an integrity issue. It will be put to the test. It has to be demonstrated. And at the end of the day, if proven beyond reasonable doubt, then it's established. But it's not an issue of... that's why we have laws. That's why we have code of ethics. That's why we have an ethics committee. We have code of conduct. So it's going to be within the remit of those legal framework, I believe.
Thank you very much, and all the best in your campaign and subsequent polls.
Nana Acheampong speaking to my colleague Gary Al Smith there at the Extraordinary Congress of the Ghana Football Association. And we are getting into another segment of our discussion that has to do with the Ghana Football Association's presidential elections. And like I mentioned, we've heard from some of the people who have thrown in their hat. For now, I think we know of Nana Amponza. Ket has also thrown in his hat. We understand that another man, was it with Goldfields? Dr. Tony Obin as well. Yesterday, we also understand has also decided to contest. Alaji Grunsa are correct. He's also made clear his intentions as well. Palmer hasn't mentioned it, but of course we know that he's going to be contesting also. So about 6 or 7 people currently. Now, and let me lay this down. Look, this Ghana Football Association, let the candidates not kid themselves. This FA elections is not going to be about, people going to speak for people and running some boja campaigns and stuff like that. People would have to tell Ghanaians what their plans are. What is the plan for juvenile football? That is the foundation. What is the plan for transparency? What is the plan for the national teams? What is the plans in matters of integrity? Judicial issues. Tell Ghanaians what your plans are. Because look, make no mistake, even though the wider Ghanaian public don't have a vote, at the end of the day, you don't run football for yourselves. You are going to run it for the people. And you see, you might think that once you have the support of the football people, that's it, you're okay. But when the pressure begins to come from the bigger Ghanaian public, you run away. And so look, for us here, I'm going to be interviewing all of them. And these are the questions I'll be putting to them. Okay? What the plan is. How do you intend to run Ghana football? What is your vision? How do you want to see Ghana football progress? And how do you intend to achieve that? Those are the things that Ghanaians would want to hear. And don't think that you're going to be speaking through a spokesperson or you are standing for the position. You have to tell Ghanaians what your plan is. We want to hear from the candidates themselves, and we'll hear from them. And so already, and let me sound this one to my colleagues in the media as well. For those of you taking sides and running subtle campaigns for people, look, it's a big disgrace. Let's not kid ourselves. It's a huge disgrace. Okay, we are supposed to be neutral, whether we like it or not. We are supposed to be neutral in all of this. We represent the people.
The voiceless.
Those are the people we represent. We don't represent any candidate. We don't push the interest of any candidate. We push the interest of Ghana football. We push the interest of the common fan. It's an absolute, and already it's happening. I've heard people within the media circles openly backing some of these candidates, and it's a big disgrace. Let's desist from it, and let's have a very sanitary. Exactly. Let the people speak for themselves and let people make their own judgment. I think that's important. And the issues that we've touched on. Juvenile football is the foundation of every, not just Ghana football, every country's football. We've consistently been talking about how Germany, won the World Cup and how they went through, exactly. And sometimes when I hear people talk, I wonder that we know all of this. Science. It's not rocket science. It's not. Spain have done it. Germany have done it. Today, we are getting whipped by Senegal and Mali, and you think it's not a coincidence. It didn't happen by magic. No. It's deliberate. They've structured their football. And so consistently, they've come here. They were the reason we didn't qualify for the last under 20 or so. Yes. They beat us again under 17, and they just ended Africa Games as well.
Yes. Under 17 and under 20.
And so we are supposed to see a different age. Yes, there's been changes in the statute and all of that. But you see, the most important thing is the people who are going to lead Ghana football, the people who are going to implement these statutes, and what vision and plans they have. Let's talk about the candidates briefly. I mean, let's begin from there. Of course, I know him as a bankroller of Dreams FC. Beyond that, what are we looking at in terms of his experience? How long has he been in the game, and what does he bring to the table? I mean, essentially.
Well, what I can say is that each and everyone who wants to stand for this election, has something, definitely even a natural human will.
Of course.
This is his industry. This is where he's investing his money.
I'm asking this question because, you see, primarily, they are supposed to be people with a football brain.
Yeah.
Okay. you don't go looking for a job at let's say Goldman Sachs and go with a journalism degree. No. I mean, exactly so, to ensure that we are not putting square pegs in round holes.
Exactly.
Essentially. For that, I can tell you almost everybody has it.
Yeah.
But now it goes back to what will make you become a candidate.
Okay. And
what will make you tell us that when you come, you are going to do A, B, C, D, which will not be just that talk.
Okay.
Like excuse me, some political talks. We've seen a lot of political talks in this country. Oh, I'll do this drastically. I'll do A, B, C, D. The person comes and he holds the power, and that's it. He's only occupying position. He's not impacting. He's not making a difference. He's not being a change manager. What value are you going to add? And where is the structured program to follow?
Okay.
To me, if Kurt wins it comes back to also the people who will be around him.
Around him as well.
Remember, we all had issues with President Techi's administration because most of us keep saying that the people around him were not helping.
Okay.
Because if you have people who will not be telling you that don't do this will not help, and we won't accept it. It's not. We should have people who are firm.
Okay.
To take decisions that will be to the interest of the game, not somebody's personal interest.
Okay.
Not a family friend or somebody I knew him before. I know him, so this law shouldn't get him.
So I mean, primarily, we can all vouch for the fact that these are all people with football experience.
For me, that is what I can say.
Okay.
But what will make you a candidate is different.
Right.
I will not decide on that.
What do you expect? What do you expect from their campaigns? I have mentioned what I want to see. What I want them.
I have my
to do
cardinal areas of focus.
Okay.
And the first thing is grassroots football.
Right.
Developing the football economy, the judicial system.
Okay.
Restoring our integrity.
Right.
If we do this, and then also a structured program for our national teams, which will be headed by the technical directorate, not that technical directorate we've been having.
Okay, I've had a serious challenge with the technical directorate of the Ghana Football Association.
Can be ignored, and decisions will be taken. This is also killing us. The Mali technical director is their coach. The technical director for Mali. He was the one who brought them to African Cup. So until we decide to and you remember when the whites come here, then they come and tell us, let your institutions work, let your systems work.
Yeah.
Do we understand that? It is hard time, and this is cutting across our political landscape too, but we don't want to go there like I told you.
It's over the last, after the AFCON, I've gone in very hard on Mr. Francis Otia Kenten for a simple reason.
Don't blame him.
Yes, but over time to have come to understand the challenges that he's had. For a simple reason that, look, we've consistently failed to win penalty shootouts. If it is once, penalty, there's an element of luck, so I understand that. But if it becomes consistent, then I think there's a technical problem. And for the fact that we've consistently failed to be able to win on penalty shootout, I had a go at him. Also because, look, at this moment, I don't see what the technical direction of Ghana football is.
Hans, did the coach even give his program to the technical director before even going for that?
Hans, what I want to talk about.
Did their coach, let me land here, because I raised that issue.
Yeah.
Did we have a program where you can see that the coach is totally answerable to the technical director, and he's giving him his programs that these are the things that I'm doing, and the technical director is giving the powers to act in that role as a technical director? If we have done that,
did he have a say in the appointment of the coach?
That is the issues. So if we think we want the game to develop, that department shouldn't be taken for granted, because they are also going to play a major role, that department, when it comes to this grassroots thing, because the training, the development,
but that's the point I made. They are supposed to determine the technical direction of Ghana football, and it begins from the grassroots.
Yes,
you tell them how to play from the grassroots, and then they grow into it.
Yes,
we don't have that now.
But we don't allow him to work. We all know people bullying them.
Why? And so that would be an unfair question.
That's what
I'm wondering why you see you've been given a job to do, they are frustrating your job, and one, you are silent, two, you are still there. What it means is that if it goes wrong, I'll still come back and blame you. You have to understand my position. Even though I have to bear with him, okay, I have to acknowledge the challenges that he has. I think that in a way you also have to blame him.
I do agree
because he's not talking about these challenges.
I do agree with him, but I quickly want to touch on what Hans said. Well, Hans has made a fantastic submission on how the elections should be conducted.
Yeah.
Hans has spoken about the role the media has to play.
Well,
Hans has also spoken about what he expects from each candidate.
Exactly.
For me, my admonition is to the NC. Intelligence we are picking up about attempts to use the ethics committee and the now yet to be announced elections committee to try and disqualify people.
The integrity test.
The so-called integrity test. I think we should
I have not heard anything like that, though.
Well, as I said, intelligence that we are picking up. I'm an intelligence person, so definitely I'll know what I'm talking about. So for someone like Dr. Kofi Amwa, you are just about finishing what you have started. Today we all sat here and applauded.
Do you think the integrity test is necessary?
I think that if we want to go by the letter to it, then one would have said that because of the banking crisis, Dr. Kofi Amwa didn't deserve to chair the NC. But that's something he's yet to contest in court and finish. So we don't need that kind of antagonism around football at this stage.
The integrity test, you think, is antagonism?
If you talk about integrity test, what is a yardstick? What is the... See, you want to conduct something, if you want to conduct an integrity test, it's a good idea.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with it. But it should not be that it is targeted at one person.
Is that the case?
That's the case. That most of the, some of the aspirants believe that this is targeted at me. If there's a rule and you have broken the rule, you have to pay by the law. I'm a law-abiding citizen, so I believe that we should operate what you do, but we should not personalize issues where we try to take some people out and leave some people in. I believe that most of the people who want to contest are fine gentlemen.
Okay.
And based on what the issues of number 12, the constituents want something new.
Okay.
They want a new GFA. They don't want something, the old thing to continue.
Right.
And therefore, you are not going to just come in and tell someone like Enimado that vote for me because I am able.
Okay.
No, you will have to convince him. And let us also respect that the constituent bodies, the people who financially have invested, emotionally have invested in football, also want the game to develop to another level. So Dr. Kofi Amwa, please, for God's sake, just as Naudo Foley has received applaudis from us this afternoon on how she conducted herself, by how she inserted what football people wanted. Go through this last transition of the roadmap without rancor,
smoothly,
without intimidation, without attempt to take out LP. If somebody doesn't qualify, it doesn't qualify.
Period.
But don't antagonize anybody. Don't use that office. Don't let anybody, don't let even politicians move you to do what you're not supposed to do, because posterity is going to judge you, Dr. Kofi Amwa.
Right. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Sammy, we wish you all the best in your ambitions to be an ESCO member.
Yes, I wish him the best too.
Some of us will be taking you to task, so bear that in mind. And for all the candidates who have declared their intention, we'll be coming to you. We'll be finding out what your plans are, and I've touched on the key areas that we'll be looking to explore. So when we call on you, be sure to respond. So have a quick one, real quick.
To me, integrity test is important. Okay, it's important, but the fact that somebody should also not be used against somebody, or
that's all I'm saying,
or somebody try to take
witch hunting,
and those things are
not good.
Maybe the correct word is what you
hunting. Let's keep it professional.
Integrity test is important because we've have when it comes to reputation issues, brand issues, and image issues.
Exactly.
So we need to clear that, and then when we are moving, we get that, like we said, we're selling the product. So the product will be attractive.
Right.
But if we don't do these things and we go in and we say we just want the people back, our football people can do our no. The person must go through that. And for information, you forgot we didn't talk about Baby Jet under 16.
Oh, right. Wednesday.
On Wednesday we are doing the opening ceremony to start the championship finals at Accra Academy. All the 32 teams will come and meet.
I'll surely be there.
Match is expected of the Joy Sports Department.
We will deliver.
Political.
Trust us to deliver.
Your sports team can declare
exactly.
Joy normally say they are election headquarters for this election. Let people speak to issues. Nobody should just come and speak and go scot-free. Everything he says, he should deliver it.
We will deliver on this
everybody. I wish everybody will, because I know it's not going to be easy.
You know we are running a series in the Joy Newsroom, from the Joy Newsroom. Dear Nanado.
Okay.
Yes. You table what your plans are.
Yes.
in a few years, if you're elected,
Yes.
we will come to you and ask you questions. So
I think Joy's supposed to do something.
We will do
We just don't want anybody to just come on there and then
we will do
where we are. We need to change the game and move it forward.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Samuel Nimado and Ebo. Yes. Thank you very much. Let me say happy birthday going out to Lydia Sharon Darko of Apex Bank, coming in from your husband and all your friends. Thank you very much for listening. My name is Hans Mensah Ando, and of course, like Sammy said, we'll be talking to all the candidates, find out what their plans are in terms of moving Ghana football to the next level. This has been the Joy Sports Link. Do enjoy the rest of your weekend.